But egotistical, that is some hard soil to be in, because you're limited to or caring only about yourself and your own needs. Self-love. And self-love, not the self-love as in the Jesus self-love, as in to love yourself, and to know what the promises that he's made to you and has told you what to do. We understand that kind of love. But the self-love, as in you're above someone else, or you only love yourself. When you get food, you only feed yourself. When you have a car, you only drive yourself. You dare not pick anyone up. But yet you're worried about what it could be something as simple as, oh, I don't know about them, they kind of look kind of like, they could be a crackhead or something, or they could smell or be drunk, or harm me, but yet it says you can trample over snakes and scorpions in the word. Yet I mean for goodness sakes, it says no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So it's like, you can have faith in that, but you can't pick nobody up off the side of the road. Now I'm not now men. I would say men pastors and all that good stuff. No, you don't pick up no woman, and women pastors, just women wives and all that good stuff. You don't pick up no man, and that's just the way it is. And that'll pretty much protect you in a whole lot of ways. But just please try to uproot yourself from being egotistical and caring just about yourself, because then think about what the word said about, well, then okay, your reward will be on earth. And you know how they were in the synagogues praying and acting like they caught the Holy Spirit and all that good stuff, so people would look at them and see that they were praying and praise them, when really you're praying and all of that is just about praying to God, and enjoying your relationship with the Lord. But hey, a lot of people are just thinking about themselves, so their just reward will be down here. So you can imagine what would happen after this life, what their reward would be. Even if they made it into heaven, hey, they'd probably be like outside the gates, for eternity, planting stuff. That'd be crazy. But anyway, now we have to watch out for a hardened heart. That's I know I went into it kind of quick, but that is another soil that you can be in, that you definitely need to be uprooted from. Now, hardened heart is to be made hard or compact, made unfeeling or callous. Now, we can stop right there for just this part of the message, because made unfeeling or callous. Just think, made unfeeling. What has happened in your life that has numbed you to a certain feeling? And I can always go to relationships, because when I got married when I was really young, I didn't understand a lot of things. I was like 20 years old, and my ex-wife, she was my wife at the time, but thank the Lord, she's my ex-wife now. And I was out of order anyway in marrying her. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. The example I was making is some things happened within that marriage that made me numb to feeling love, and and receiving love, and knowing how to trust, and to know that every woman in the world isn't her. Every woman that I meet isn't her. But like, after I wasn't with her for years, anybody that I met, after her, they were a completely different person, but I still allocated everything up to, well, they're going to be like her, because like for 7 years of my life, that was the only example that I had. So being that I was still stuck in that realm, even though I wasn't with her, I was 3,000 miles away from her, and it's still, my hurts and pains and the things that I went through still controlled who I was and how I treated people and what I received. And that's really not a good place to be, because you can end up losing out on a lot of good things, and that the Lord had for you. But anyway, I'm sure that testimony will help someone. But that's only halfway through the definition. And it said made unfeeling or callous, and it's like callous. You know how you have callus on your hands, and what is that? That's from working too much and too hard on a certain thing, and you're grasping. It's like grasping and always trying to grab and to hold on to something, and it's like you're trying to hold on to something. You're trying to climb, and you're slipping, and you're continually trying to grab on to something that you can't keep a hold of, which would bring about the callus on your hands. And you could still use that as an example as into things in your past, that even though it says in the word that Jesus washed you clean, there are still some things that you hold on to, and still things that you try to grasp from a part of your life that doesn't belong in your future, because your future belongs to the destiny that the Lord has for you. But as long as you're still trying to grab things from your past, you're making it hard to grasp onto the things in your future, because your hands are hurting. Your hands have callus. They're worn out from trying to grab onto something that's already gone. You're trying to pull something back in that's going in a completely different direction. And there's nothing harder than trying to pull something back that's going in a different direction, especially when it has a strength of its own. Now, apart from that, it says made obstinate, obdurate, confirmed in error. Oh my goodness, that's crazy within itself. Confirmed in error, a hardened heart. That's automatically saying to God, you are confirmed in error, and that is no joke. It's like, or vice, and you know what a vice is. Everybody has vices. It's preachers and ministers and stuff. Yet we still got vices too. We just as human as anybody else. We're just held accountable more, because we got more responsibility, because the Holy Spirit gives us a shepherd mentality, and it gives us an administering spirit to administer things in the gospel that come as meat, but we can break it down into baby food for people to receive. Not saying that, not saying anything against anybody's intelligence or nothing, but it's just about making something understandable. Now, it also says converted to solid form. Now, think about that, converted to solid form. Now, a hardened heart isn't just hardened. It comes from something. It comes from an act. It comes from a thought, which is a thought before something, is what iniquity is, which I know people probably had never explained that to you, but iniquity is the thought before the act. Thinking of something, like, just like they say, premeditated murder. So just think of something that might have happened that converted you, or converted a thought, or converted your thought of a person that you know to a solid form, which you harden your heart towards. And if you harden your heart towards somebody, that's just like the word says, is you have an ought against your brother. Then how can you love me? How can you love Christ if you got an ought against someone else? If you hadn't forgiven them face to face, forgive them in your heart. Forgive them spiritually through the Holy Spirit, and release that anger, and move on. Now, we're going to get to the really, really, really good stuff. Another soil that you may be rooted in is a tongue of fire. Ooh boy, now there's a lot of people in the church that's rooted in that. And no disrespect to any kind of church or whatever, but just from my experience, I started out, in a Methodist church, in between Methodist and Baptist. So we know ethnically, boy, the ethnic church ain't no joke on the tongues and the backbiting and all that good stuff. But we're not going to concentrate on the negative. The tongue of fire is a soil that you could be rooted in, that you need to be uprooted from, and it's speaking negative against yourself, speaking non-factual acts or events of someone other than yourself, verbally creating conflict, harm, or dismay. Do I need to go on? Expressing untruths to warrant attention or to destroy a person's reputation. Now, why is it that we feel sometimes that we want to destroy someone's reputation? Most of the time, the reason why someone would want to destroy someone's reputation is because they are somewhere you want to be. Most of the time, it's because of that. It's because of something that they may have that you feel that you should have, or just something that you want that you can acquire at the time. And it's like, how did they get that? And I didn't get that. I deserve this and I deserve that. But the word says what is for you is for you. What is for them is for them. God is not a respecter of humans. He can give anybody anything that he wants. If he don't want to give you something, then hey, you don't have it. And then actually you could be rooted in a tongue of fire, and that's the reason why you're not receiving something. So you could have had that nice house or that Benz over there that you see at your neighbor's house, or your marriage could be as good as this couple that you think you think is has it all great and everything's good, but that's in your eyes what you see. Nobody knows what goes on behind, closed doors. But what we're basically saying, if you're speaking negative against yourself, that's like when you're really, really, when you get sick or something, and then you're just piling it on like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna feel any better. Oh, this fever's got me. I just don't understand. I mean, if you keep speaking right along with something, then hey, it's definitely gonna get worse. And in the word it says, speak things as though they were. Now, if the Spirit is in you, if the Spirit of Christ is in you, He's sitting here raising people from the dead. You telling me you can't lay hands on yourself and raise a fever off of you, or at least calm it down? Yeah, yes, He made them. Yes, He made a person that made the medicine. Of course, that's definitely because you're a physical person, and there's things that you need physically. So of course, take the medicine. But if you don't have the medicine at the time, you can at least say a prayer or speak beautiful things upon your own spirit that'll take you right out of that, or at least make it subside. So now we're going to talk about, speaking non-factual acts or events of someone other than yourself. Now, that basically goes along with, expressing untruths to warrant attention or to destroy a person's reputation. Now, we all know those people that lie, that just to get you to keep on talking to them, or if they're in a conversation. I did this, when I was like in fourth grade. I did it a lot, like, as a young boy, because I didn't have a lot of experiences. And just to be in the conversation with the popular people, you augment your stories. And if someone says, well, my dad, he just bought this this really cool truck, and it has hydraulics and blah blah blah, and then you'd break into the conversation and, yeah, man, well, yeah, my dad, his truck is cool too. He put a spoiler kit on it yesterday. And you go to the house, and your dad's got a S10. It's not a Chevy. But you see what I'm trying to say is augmentation, adding to a lie, or just a complete flat out lie to get people to verbally be a part of your world, or so you can be a part of their world. And if you got to do that to be a part of somebody's world, then that's actually the wrong world to be in. So, all right, we're going to take a pause for a minute and get into some worship before we get into the second part of the message. It's time to just be a part of the Spirit. I love that part. It's just great.